You're a longtime holder of the stock, Ross. I have to ask you then, does this news on Nvidia and what China has been urging or at least stressing to its companies, does that change anything in your eyes?
Not really, and I guess you gave away I'm not that young either, because it's been a 15-year journey with Nvidia, and the issues with China are legitimate because the chip that they're selling in China is inferior to what the rest of the world and what America is buying, and it's substantially inferior. So there's a lot of risk of building a lot of systems around the chip when really it's not the best technology. So it's almost like ceding a lesser position in AI to your competitors. So I'm not sure how the chip will do, but it's better than not being able to sell it at all, which was the position we were in not too recently.
Yeah, and I was going to ask you actually if one of the theoretical experiments a few weeks back was if Nvidia lost the Chinese market, does the bull case still hold up? I'll put that question to you, Ross.
Well, yes, it does, but no, in the sense of obviously China will be a formidable investor in AI as everybody is, and where their dollars will go and how their systems will be built and how compatible they are with other systems are going to be determined now by the foundations of the data centers that are going to be built. So quite frankly, from my perspective, you want the absolute best top of the line AI chips. You want to do kind of what Elon's doing, and that's Nvidia, and there's no way around Nvidia at the moment. And so China's in kind of a pickle. So it's, do I buy the lesser chips and get going now, or do I try to get them Blackwell some other way? So this is a strategic advantage the United States has in technology, which is what we've always had, and why I've always been a technology investor in the United States.
Ross, NVIDIA does report earnings on August 27th, about 2 weeks from now. What are you expecting this time around?
Well, it should be another good quarter if you look at Meta and all the other companies ramping up spending on data centers. We're kind of in this core stage. We've been looking at a lot of AI opportunities because that's what we see as an opportunity and also what clients want. And the truth is we're so early in this process that you don't want to get ahead of yourselves. We really have not even the power to build the compute necessary to really build the systems that people envision for the future, including robotics. So this is really a great position for NVIDIA to be in, and certainly if there's more innovation from other chip makers, there's certainly lots of opportunities. We also are second positions in Broadcom in my fund GK, and so really it's a great time to be in the data center building business, and many of the sub players in that, including in energy.
Ross, I mean, certainly the concerns over the valuation are always almost a feature here when you talk about NVIDIA the last few years or so. How useful is it to look at 1 year forward PE, or do we need to be looking beyond that and looking how that curve looks, just trying to understand what how long this runway really is?
Yeah, we tend to, being an investor in NVIDIA for so long, it's traded around 40 to 45 PE for most of its existence. So, you don't get too many opportunities under that number. What I'm kind of amazed at is it still trades at that multiple when you have other stocks in a very frothy market trading at quite, a lot of stocks are trading at 100 times earnings, and they're growth stories, but the premiums now are extreme in the markets, and yet NVIDIA, which is the best story in the market with the best CEO in the market, for some reason is still at, I'd say, a market multiple for big cap tech. So, it's hard not to like NVIDIA. It's our biggest position, and it just keeps growing. And I'm loath to sell it, even though we're wildly overweight in certain client accounts, especially these early investors that did get in that early, because I'm a gamer, and that's the roots of NVIDIA's business. And I was fortunate to be a gamer and figure out NVIDIA 15 years ago, and then being in autonomy. So knowing what I know about autonomy and how that's growing so exponentially, and then cryptocurrencies, which is also GPU-based driven systems. So like almost everything is right for this company, and investors need to own it.
Aaron Rakers, an analyst at Wells Fargo, increased the stock's price objective from $185 to to $220 while keeping his rating at overweight. The company thinks the stock is ready for future gains. It said that it thinks robust worldwide demand and revived sales in China could help Nvidia rise. The U.S. government has achieved a deal with Nvidia and AMD that will enable them to start selling certain AI processors in China again. 15% of the proceeds from those sales will be given to the government in return. The analyst expects the recovery to be finished by the company's fiscal fourth quarter in January 2026 and thinks that this new arrangement could help Nvidia regain the entire $8 billion in quarterly revenue. After then, demand from China might increase even more. With a $4.4 trillion valuation, Nvidia is now the biggest firm in the world and has emerged as the most operationally effective of the so-called Magnificent Seven stocks. According to recent research from bestbrokers.com, Nvidia's operating margin over the last 4 quarters was an incredible 59.86%, far higher than that of competitors like Tesla, Microsoft, and Meta. This degree of profitability demonstrates how dominating Nvidia is in high-end GPUs for AI, gaming, and data centers, as well as how well-positioned it is at the vanguard of the artificial intelligence AI explosion. Spotty margin trends have been observed in the broader IT industry, with leaders in artificial intelligence seeing their profit margins grow, while their hardware-based counterparts have seen theirs shrink. Nvidia's efficacy distinguishes it from its peers and all of its NASDAQ majors, where averages are significantly lower. Investor dilemma. Is Nvidia's exceptional efficacy already priced in, or does the stock still have room to rise, given that it is near all-time highs? Based in Santa Clara, California, Nvidia is a global leader in AI infrastructure and accelerated computing. The business creates GPUs, data center platforms, and AI software that are used in a variety of markets, from generative AI to driverless cars. With a $4.4 trillion market valuation, Nvidia is the industry leader in semiconductors and artificial intelligence, offering essential software and hardware ecosystems. Over the course of the last year, Nvidia's stock increased by more than 100%, from a 52-week low of $86.62 to a high of $184.48. This action significantly outpaced the roughly 25% gain made by the S&P 500 over the same time period, indicating investors' excitement about AI-driven development. From a valuation perspective, Nvidia is valued at 34.1 times sales and 45.40 times anticipated earnings, which is significantly more than the industry average for the semiconductor business. Its 55.85% net profit margin and return on equity over 105% justify this valuation, despite the fact that multiples this high are typically thought to imply a premium. In spite of this, investors are paying for scalability and quality in a market where Nvidia has a monopoly-like hold on expensive AI chips. The increase in demand for AI and cost control helped Nvidia secure another quarterly victory in the most recent quarter. Its high-margin strategy in AI software and computation is justified by its operating margin of 59.86%, which is more than 3 times the norm for the semiconductor sector. Sovereign AI and hyperscaler initiatives drove record data center sales, which helped generate revenue. Citing demand for its new Blackwell architecture GPUs and AI supercomputing platforms, management forecasted sustained revenue momentum into the upcoming quarter. As Nvidia shifts its revenue mix from hardware to higher-margin AI software and services, forecasts indicate continued profitability. Deeper integration with top cloud providers and expansion into vertical AI solutions were highlighted in the company's most recent earnings call, positioning it to grab recurring revenue streams similar to those of software. Based on order visibility and backlog growth, another strong report before year-end is expected, even though no date for its next earnings announcement was provided. The market's most bullish analysts have given Nvidia stock a strong buy rating consensus, with very few giving hold ratings and almost none providing sell ratings. Investors generally agree that Nvidia can continue to lead the AI hardware market and profitably market its software platform. Nvidia's current mean target price is $186.32, up 1.72% from its most recent close. The street's highest aim is $250, which, if optimistic projections come to pass, would represent an additional 36% increase. So, what implications does this have for Nvidia's stock? Let's explore that. But first, a big thank you to those of you who've stuck with us this far. Creating these videos takes significant effort and dedication, so if you're enjoying the content, please hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and share your thoughts on Nvidia stock in the comments. Your support truly helps us grow. Now, let's get back to the video. On Wednesday, Nvidia's stock was slightly declining. According to one analyst, a bigger threat from AMD may cause a delay in its next generation of AI chips. In afternoon trade, Nvidia's stock fell 1.3%, while the Nasdaq Composite Index increased by 0.02%. An analyst's assertion that Nvidia's next-generation Rubin hardware is being pushed back to better competitor AMD could be one factor influencing the stock. We believe that a delay in Rubin is highly plausible. According to a research note by Sherman Shang, an analyst at Fubon Research, Nvidia is modifying the chip to better match AMD's upcoming MI450, even though the first version of Rubin was already taped out in late June. According to Shang, supply chain checks indicate only limited volume next year, as Nvidia looks to improve the processor's power, creating manufacturing issues, even though the market is largely anticipating that mass production of Rubin chips will start in the third quarter of 2026. An email message was sent by an Nvidia representative in response to a previous request for comment following the publication of this story. The report is inaccurate. Rubin is on course. AMD's present AI chips haven't had much of an effect on Nvidia's Blackwell hardware dominance, but AMD's first rack-scale 72-processor AI server will be the MI400 series, which includes the MI450. It might become a more formidable competition as a result. Alongside its results report on Tuesday, AI cloud provider CoreWeave stated that demand is insatiable and that it anticipates strong sales of NVIDIA's most recent GB200, GB300, NVL72 AI servers over the next 4 quarters. AI. NVIDIA is a stakeholder in CoreWeave, which only uses NVIDIA hardware to rent out servers. During an earnings call, CoreWeave CEO Michael Intrator informed analysts, "We have never strayed from our belief that the market is structurally supply-constrained, and that is based on our discussions and relationships with the largest, most important consumers of this infrastructure in the world." Ansys, a division of Synopsys, has partnered with NVIDIA to integrate NVIDIA Omniverse technology into its simulation solutions for autonomous vehicles. Customers will have direct access to Omniverse's technologies and libraries through this integration, which will start with Ansys's computational fluid dynamics, CFD, and autonomous car solutions. The partnership seeks to advance knowledge of vehicle aerodynamics, increase the safety of autonomous vehicles, and aid in the advancement of 6G connection. In order to integrate with Omniverse and enable accessible workflows across a range of simulation applications, Ansys technology makes use of universal scene description. Additionally, the agreement guarantees the interoperability of various computer-aided engineering (CAE) tools, resulting in a unified workflow that is necessary for large-scale CFD applications. The partnership seeks to advance knowledge of vehicle aerodynamics, increase the safety of autonomous vehicles, and aid in the advancement of 6G connection. In order to integrate with Omniverse and enable accessible workflows across a range of simulation applications, Ansys technology makes use of universal scene description. Additionally, the agreement guarantees the interoperability of various computer-aided engineering (CAE) tools, resulting in a unified workflow that is necessary for large-scale CFD applications. Magna, a mobility technology business, and NVIDIA announced in March 2025 that they will collaborate to develop AI-driven solutions with an emphasis on intelligence and autonomy for the upcoming generation of software-defined vehicles. As a result, NVIDIA's stock price is growing, creating a bullish sentiment. Don't forget to share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Your input helps create a more knowledgeable community where we can all learn and grow together in the world of investing. Stay up to date with the latest market trends, insights, and key updates by subscribing to Investing Tutorial. We're here to help you make smarter investment decisions and stay ahead of the curve.
I want to pick up where Dan left off, and that is the Chinese now have a window as to how to proceed with negotiations more so than they did before, perhaps. I mean, I read this somewhere. The monetization of U.S. trade policy is what we're witnessing right now. You wrote discretionary industrial policy. All of it means effectively you pay enough and you get to play here. And so I'm wondering if this sort of gives Beijing a little bit of leverage in terms of how to navigate this next phase of trade talks.
Hi, Ari, Melissa. I think it gives Beijing a lot of leverage, actually. To your point, what this has done is essentially confirm what Beijing had always believed, and that was Trump is more transactional than he is principled, particularly when it comes to national security. And if you press hard enough, if you incentivize, and if you show that you are persistent, that eventually you will fold. Look, I think it was said by Courtney earlier that this is not clarity. I agree with that. Chinese have very clearly said, regardless of what you decide on the H20, we have our own concerns and we're going to ask you to prove that, which opens up a whole lot of know-how when they start to dissect this chip, which they will. But what the Chinese have also said is, we don't really think that the H20 is a quality chip anyway. What we're looking for are the H100 and the B100. And what the Trump administration has done with this decision is essentially said to Beijing, if the price is right, maybe we'll look at the H100 and the B100. So I think you've opened up a Pandora's box here with this decision. And I don't think the Chinese are going to back off. They're going to press advantage here as we move forward in these next 90 days.
Dordrecht, Tim, so what are they looking for? What is the move on the chessboard for the Chinese here to counter this? What would be the best outcome for them? I mean, we kind of get it's not just about keeping tariffs where they were before Liberation Day, but drop us into the tech context where obviously China has their own chip aspirations and they have their own goal to maintain global leadership. So what does today mean for them?
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right to kind of focus on what does this mean long term. And long term, Tim, I think what we're trying to suss is where the Chinese are looking to fill gaps in their own development for high-tech chips and frontier models on AI. Like, that's the big game here. And I think for the Chinese, there are lots of deltas between what Nvidia can do and what some of their high-end chip companies can do. So they're looking to close this gap. I think Trump has given them that window. But let me just say quickly about what it means for NVIDIA in terms of market share, Tim. And you and all the traders are familiar with this. The Chinese will continue to welcome NVIDIA with limits over a period of time until they can close these gaps. And then they're going to get the Volkswagen treatment, the Tesla treatment, the Apple treatment, the Starbucks treatment. And so the real question I have, Tim, is how long will it, how many times does Lucy have to pull this football before our Charlie Brown corporation stop running to make the kick? I just don't understand this move. There's no long-term future for NVIDIA in China.
Dordrecht, in terms of China, the economy there, what position are they in to sort of play hardball? Because clearly things have been slowing in a pretty precipitous fashion.
Yeah, this is a great question. Look, not much has changed from our conversations about the Chinese economy from last year. Let's be clear. We still have a consumption problem. We still have a problem with deflation. Overcapacity, the Chinese government has even owned this as a problem now. So there are some real concerns about the Chinese economy. But again, it comes back to who can stomach the most pain. And as we talked about earlier in the year, the Chinese are not going to fold. They are prepared to take some pain. But ultimately, and it was mentioned earlier, their trump card here is our overdependence on critical minerals. So they're prepared to leverage that as much as they can with a weak economy and play a strong hand based on our vulnerabilities with respect to critical minerals.